How's it going, guys? I'm going to give you a direct head-to-head comparison between two of Seiko's most popular Prospex divers, the Seiko Samurai, which I have on the left, and the Seiko Turtle on the right. Now, you might note right away that there's a difference in the colorway and some of the bezel options, and both of these have many variations of this, but these are my personal watches, so we'll just get that out of the way right away. And also you will note that the straps on both are not the stock Seiko silicone strap, nor are they the OEM bracelet that comes with these watches. But really, for all intents and purposes, if you were to buy either one, you'd get exactly the same strap or bracelet. So let me talk about what's different between these two watches, and then I'll wrap up and talk about the similarities between them. And I'm going to start on my left here with the Seiko Samurai. And this is a special edition Save the Ocean version of the Samurai. So aside from the really cool dial pattern and color, what is different for Samurais in general with the dial is the applied indices, the handset, and the complication for the date. So starting with the indices, you can see that they're nicely applied, mostly rectangular, except for near the 12 o'clock, which has a dual faceted indice, and then a slight variation at the 6 and 9 o'clock. Now with the handset, it's really neat. For the hour and second hand, you have these really nice arrowhead style hands, and then for the minute hand, you have a long broadsword right there. And what's cool about that is that if they all line up over top of each other at the same time, it kind of looks like a rocket ship. The complication for the date, you only have the day of the month, and you don't have the actual day of the week like you do on the Turtle. But that's the main differences to the dial. If I flip it to the side, there's other differences with the case shape and profile. You can see that the lugs here are they have really broad shoulders and some nice brushing here. And then notice the crown. You have the crown at the 3 o'clock position. It's very prominent, and it's got crown guards here to protect it as well. And look at the knurling on the crown and the bezel, because this is distinctly different from the Turtle as well. You kind of have kind of like a coin edge bezel here, but the texture on it is distinctly different than you will find on a Turtle. So when we're looking at the Turtle dial, you can see that the indices are different. They have these really big white lume-filled surrounds for the indices, except for at the 12 o'clock, which has this really nice sword running through the dual-faceted indice. And then you do have kind of a snail trail for the 6 and 9 o'clock, like you would find on a Seiko SKX. Now, the hour hand here is kind of like a syringe style hour hand. For the second hand, you have this really nice elongated needle, and then you kind of have a counterpoint lollipop loom pip there. And then with the minute hand, you have a broad arrow style hand, which is kind of the opposite of what you would see on the Samurai. But both look really good. And then again, so if you look at the 3 o'clock, you do have the day of the week as well as the date for the month is. So that's slightly different as well. And then if you flip it to the side and look at the case shape, you have this really nice coin cushion case, which makes the Seiko Turtle very comfortable to wear. It has high polish on the underside of the cushion, and then some really nice radial brushing along the top and on the flanks of the lugs. Now do note that the knurling on the crown and bezel is slightly different from each other. Also note the lack of crown guards for here, and it's at the position near the 4 o'clock instead of at the 3 o'clock, which you would find on the Samurai. So I'm going to bring both into frame, and we can talk about the commonalities. So with both watches, you're getting essentially the same in-house Seiko caliber movement. The only difference, again, is in the day and day complication. So on the left with the Samurai, you get the Seiko 4R35, and on the right on the Turtle, you get the 4R36. Both are 23 joule movements with 40-hour power reserves. They tick away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, or 3 hertz, and they're both hacking and hand wind, which is really great to see. And they're workhorse movements. Both have really nice bezel action, 120 click unidirectional with loom pips at the 12. Although I forgot to mention, you can see that based on these specific models, the bezel markings up to 20 are slightly different. On the left, you kind of have a really nice highlighted lighter blue up to 15 minutes. And then on the right, on the turtle, because it's the Pepsi style bezel, you get this red accent all the way to a 20-minute mark. The diameter of these watches, for the face, it's pretty much the same. The turtle is slightly wider just because of the coin cushion case there. But if you flip it to the side, the height profile is pretty identical. Note that both have drilled lugs, which is really good for swapping out straps, which I clearly have done. Both have really, really nice visibility, and the indices and handsets are applied with Seiko's LumiBright technology. I'll throw up a loom shot side by side so you can see how it looks. You can't go wrong with either, to be honest. And I'll just conclude by showing you some wrist shots of both watches. So here's a wrist shot of the Samurai. Again, you can see that the case shape is slightly different, but it hugs your wrist really well and it's pretty comfortable. And here's a wrist shot of the Seiko Turtle, which again is super comfortable with that cushion case. And again, both are great watches. You know, which one do I recommend? Well, I think it's really up to you to decide which one is better. You can't go wrong with either, as I mentioned. I find for long-term wearability, the Turtle with that coin cushion case is very comfortable on wrist. Whereas the Seiko Samurai, it's got more lines and angles, and I find more wrist present. So maybe if you want to go that way, I would say pick the Samurai. But again, can't go wrong with either. I just wanted to highlight the similarities and differences between these two excellent Seiko dive watches, because they are both 200 meter water resistant, ISO certified divers, as you probably already know. So you can't, excellent value for money as well. So please let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.